Has anybody got any questions as we start? Okay, okay. Gonna teach how to adi. Khataya anchorage e khatya team. Jana we yachtwasaku wish kanachutu da adi. Shukwaya Tlingit khinach. Yidat ka wal kleka winet kanach wal jinkat. Yewe achtwasaku. Just klek gau kanach. Tledushu jinkat winets kanach. Woosh kanach gachtu da ad. Yang. Aqaowe anaqachtu ad. Naski gi kha kleshwush kanach gachtu da ad. Yiji deka kwati. Neil yejineyi. We neil yejineyi datea yuchagachtu la ad. Shukwa koa at ḳuduteení awa. Yi inka khunigi adatea yuchagachtu la adi. Ya at ḳuduteení aya yedu asak. Gwell at andaqin. Gwell at wugud. Gwell at wushich. Gwell at wukuch. Tadaqasa yituwasagu. Khatqa'a ya qanakhwe yat utat. Anchorage day ḳuduteení. Helmasabuti. Shawahik aya we yandaqin ya qa'a. Aqa'awe aqe hati ya we Maori qa. Graham Smith ye do a sock. Woosh yuch autul art. Adat away wasa. A yanach kena keni. Wanach aya. Kijk. Wasa. Kegach tutlak e. We schoon klein. Cheltakat kaji yis. Ajoy aqe khat yeti. Yekam. Adusa du tuasagu yik e watanya yidat koa. Chaguk de. At ḳuduteení awa. Gook.
Dech Cindy Clark Yawachi San Francisco Echat Utian Akawa Museum de Hwagut Akawa Wushkitan Ḳuduteení Ḳuduteení We'ak Pan Wushkitan Ḳuduteení to Yak A Atra Khwacha Trade Hain Atra Kasha Khwacha Ka Plague Cindy Clark Yawachi Seattle Echat Uti Awa Achuni Kakia do Yahai Seattle Art Museum us has to saw exhibit.
Oh, gwell. Museum. Adata ya yuk autul art. akatratseok atu insawe. Katka achtuasaku gwell at u dakahidie duasaku at gwell tlell at u kroat katlatsini at hef kadein chasaku. Ya exhibit kroa gwell kawakshiyig dak yew dudzeneyi. Gwell atwe kawakshiyig kaya kadak yew dudzeneyi. Yaka, kunilchish. Atisa di tuasagu idat kroa ha in kayinigi ye at ḳuduteení dat.
Chat gosh.
Good day.
Okay. Ya kutan dekina ani de kuchwatin skidigit de skangwai ulnagait wutuslits is ways isa yak clan yik lekak inach Red Cod Village we klagu kutia wutusitin atlan kutia klagu kada kd tayigasti su lekak ina mortuary posts gwall yahlaka Tlingit inach small yach inach dach jefflir dutunda tani yati aga awes gangwai unagai nak wututlitsis nask yagi yawahi adach skidigit wutu wakuch wedu ya kuch kwatu wedekina kinach adat ya Tlingit yuktangi ka ya dekina yuktangi tlach wush gunayade ye hasyati ta'an ach tu wusigu we words tu shugu ga kuchwashiyi Tlingit kinach huta dekina huta Tlingit na chain dekina na hin kua na hin Tlingit kink dekina kinky inach fermented fish heads we Chinook borrowed words su Tlingit masus dekina musmus Tlingit wanadu dekina lamadu dekina anahu Tlingit anahu dekina yanahu we Chinook kinach gwall ye chwajian hoot
Ha, yake. Kunilchish chawe. Ya ach tlil kuhas ani ka. Kekawe dekina ani. Hadagway. Yet atsu yel. Tlingit chinach yal. Dekina chinach. Chak. Has yuchatangi koa tsak. Shaki at aya has koa saki at. Kayat etushugu yuchatangidach aya now has the yuchatangitin koa lam. Yeah, why, okay. Kunilchish.
Kashan ayachat Achawe Atlain Kuchwatin India ka Nepal Tledushudis Kuchwatin ka Istanbul Spain Napa Scotland Dekina Ani Kunach Achtuasagustin ka Toronto Dach Vancouver Day. Dachun Yagi Shuahik. Tlich cell phones. Tlich internet. Chascha'a Akshatka Kacha'ani Watusitin Hawagenach. Chatlak Watuthakits. Kunak Kayets Awe. Ka Ku'uha Wugak. Kua Aktuasigu Nil Ta'a Tu. Wanganins Chas Shoot Aquada'ak Ka Quata. Yake Awetsu. Uchawe.
Yak echa gnis cheesh. Yawe we stinka. A yektawe yak we atwakuchu. Ya achshat kachat aya. Gushuk. Talk shuahikanaya ha woosh with the shi adach. Yawe woosh with the shi. Ka take this. Take this away shuahi ka. Fairbanks dacha Anchorage Day Iowa to a kuch we steen katin tlach kunnach wuk we dis yadich aya you do a salk yadis a we dis tsu ya kunnach we kakotli yes aya just the cut way on yes aya yak we ask kayani awe kone aya ya kan de yes Naka away yes aya kaka shoot like kaka sus away just the cut ya as kayani we kitka ko atlake kitka aya tlaye wuti achwe kwash has de twasagu yes atunach aya has ye kukka u ya aya we steen kakach just what chaye genki kastegenach at wukuchu ye owe achtuasagutsu to kukaya kakwatu kukakaya kakshahit ye kehawe ganil chish adusa yidat ko adusa du tuasagu ja at ḳuduteení dat yuch atutla atka think it over sometime. Is anybody gonna go?
Yeah. Ḵudu Anchorage yan ya ḳuduteení da ḳudusu kau ye to tat yandu ken yakwe
ḳuduteení
ḳuduteení plek tauk shuach workshop day achjiwu Hooch
Okay, it's cheese. Yeah, ţuduteení yeah, Anchorage Day Cornehas ţuduteení Achwe AFN yakwahi Youth and Elders yakwahi Kashan ka Yis ka shukwahi Yak Tsukke Adusa Uchake
I'll go. Akshat Ankich Day Atwudakin Sinde. Sheet kak ayade kuch tleich Sinde ak. Ankich Day Kukwadakin Dech Yagi. Sheet kade Kukwadakin Dech Yagi. Wait. Friday. Play
Cajun Yaki
Kejin Yagi. Sheet kade kukwadekin kejin yagi. Hooch.
Ha. Gunchish. Ykeha. Get the tlekiki, dechiki, naskiki, dagunyaki, kejiniki, sandiketsku, Sunday. Get at the kata de yes sandik. One qalins qa'a ya akaye yeti at your way. Itu agesigu ye ya waka we tlek kak inachyacheti on Friday. Cajun yakik. Cajun yakik awe. Akagwash Cajun aya had adeyak kwahi. Cajun yakik awe adekuk kwadakin. On Friday, I'm going to go. Gwashwe chakut Friday ko'a day yawachi. Cajun yakik owe adechwa kuch. It was on Friday that I went. Blah blah blah. Yake. Sukke gwash hoot.
Go. Let's see. Tot Kutan Europe to honeymoon yeti to a teen Europe day. Okay, let's see. Europe day day to a teen. Let's see. Seattle play Iceland play play Belgium Deichyagi okay Greece day with two wa'at Greece day Shawadi Kahat Mediterranean Hini woohoo. So let's see. Alsace Wutua Su France. Trying to think of close, but Germany Su. Ach ish du ish Alsace ḳuduteení. George Rohrbacher you do sagen. Du ani awe. Alsace Shanach ya Shah Mount Roberts, yeah, like Shah. Okay. Dasa?
Oh, Shah. Yeah.
Shah. Shanach ya Shah. Askatu Voj you do a sock. Kaya Shah Black Forest you do a sock. Ya Rahini Shanach awe Aga awe cousin e Norbert you do a sock do Chlik George do Chlik George Ach ish do Chlik. See How? Norbert ka du shawadi ka du yeti chega achwani. Norbert Flammenkuchen Alschiech Alsatian Pizza Yachiti Sauknain Kut Wasadu Sauk creme fraiche Tlingit Kena Yanese perhaps Sauknain Kut Wasusli Ka onions Sauknain Kut Ya Flammkuchen outlet sick. Let's see. Oh, Clay Schnaps ḳuduteení ach ish du chlik ayu ya Schnaps ach ish okay ayu ya Schnaps outliech ach chlik ya Schnaps kanata yi ḳuduteení so Ooch and cheese.
yak way. Yata Europe de ḳuduteení. Away at ḳuduteení. Ka onions aya yel techa ye do sago at. Yel techa. Yak gun cheese. Kachonach wuk So ke gwell tle hwj.
Kushek Kashlachtu Yadu
Cheese.
Tlachtu da sayeda iane yakutan.
Dillingham de Kuchwatin Ye Janayes Yakwik Ye Jechana Stakat Yet Wituakuch Ach Ya Kutune Gutsa Wituakuch Waekua Da Sayeda Iane Tatge
That's me.
I already did.
Oh, okay. Yanshuka de Huakuch Uakan Ashun, yes. Nazk cake team de Huagut. Hesh Guakan Huasatin. Ach Yitkua Wishli cake. Der Guakan Awa un. Kadushatsu Clake. Ach Dutch Hansu Ashun Wukuch. Chatleinach. Clake Guakan Osatin. Klesh Awa un. Klesh Wush cake. Which
Gun cheese Johan. Yigo ayach one. Chetsu. Naskidihina ya kachwa akwe kuwakan ayach wat Akawe adatu tachutan. We chago kawu yehas yanakijin. Kwasi tuwasaku. Ay suni. Tas adata ya yuk ita atchik. Akawe iyukatangi aya hasakwa achnuch. Yatatu adat. Ya kwasi tuwasaku ye yanaka. Da saye da ine. Yak Ye da nane. Klis ye da ineq. Ye dak qine. Yatako we perfective gwell klis kuste. We Tlingit aya dasa ye yisane yakutan. Hechwasagu wanachsawe ya ye yisane katuasagu we perfective tin. Kahuke koa yiyu katangi gun cheese. You might have to switch to something else because we got a shorter class tonight, and I'll let you guys know why in a second. But anybody else want to go?
Cut.
Good.
Ach jene yes. Saguyus at ḳuduteení ach tuasagu. Ach chuch du hunch seek Idaho yeti. Ach tuasagu ḳuduteení sur.
Okay. Gonna cheese. Yeah, we sagutin kayat atsu. Akat se wok what wudulsa at ḳuduteení. Akat se wok. George and Marge had a way to say like just kind of vacation. I'm not really remembering. I'll try and find it. It's in some notes I have and some little books that were supposed to come out. There's all these little books that are going to come out sometime soon, which I guess I should talk to you guys about. Gonna cheesh everybody for sharing. I think you guys are fantastic, and I just really enjoy it when we talk and share. I'm in Anchorage for the week, so we'll have, we're obviously having class now, but we won't have class on Wednesday. But I'm going to give you guys a project. So a few years ago, well, maybe it was 3, a project was handed to me to sort of pick up this Head Start curriculum that had been worked on, and it was basically a series of books that had been made and that had never really fully been finished. It looked like they had some funding, they hired an artist who drew some really neat images, and then they started putting these little books together. And then when the project came my way, I thought, well, wouldn't it be neat if we did it only in Tlingit? And then I'm trying to push some folks to produce a bunch of just Tlingit books, and then we could put a little piece of paper in there with the English on it that can fall out and get lost. And but we'll help people to learn it. We're not trying to be exclusive. So I worked with ḳuduteení and Chukshani, and it was a lot of fun because they know the language, but they didn't really know the stories. And the stories are actually several different versions, and some of them differ from some of the ones that might be commonly known out there. And the stories tend to differ anyway. So there's 4 of them that are ready to be kind of reviewed. So what I'd like you to do is pick one, and hopefully everybody picks at least one of these. If, I guess maybe we should pick them now so that make sure everybody... We can do the same ones, but I want to make sure all of them get done, and it'd be good if we got 2 people working on them. And what I'm hoping you will do is you will take a look at the text, and you will translate these sentences, even though I know what they are, and we worked on them, but I want to just sort of just give you a little translation exercise going from Tlingit to English, and then also to just watch for any mistakes. There's bound to be mistakes, and so let me know if you spot any, and then we'll go through and get these ready to hit the printer. And I think it's such a neat time because we can do low-run editions, and we don't have to stop until everything gets just right. We can, we can make a few, and then if we find some error, we'll fix it in the next edition. So there are 4 stories. The Girl Who Married a Bear. Oops, I see that there's a chat. And then, yeah, that's a good question. So do you need to translate a whole story? I'd say get as far as you can. And we'll just we'll start walking through these. We've got some time, but we won't have class on Wednesday. And then, so you also have an entire week. And this is just sort of the first, here's a project, and that's probably what we're going to do in this class, is we'll just sort of start generating some projects, and some of them will be translations, and some of them will be production. So I would like this first one to be translation, and the next one to be production, meaning you make something or you perform something for us. And these are fun, and we might have done this one together, but I don't think we've gone through these other three, and so they're fun. And then we can also talk about some of the differences between these ones and some other ones. And then I have another project for us to do, which I'll have to stop the share for a second. So Chuck Alice Taff did a wonderful project quite a few years back, where she got some funding and went and documented Tlingit conversations. And I was talking to her about this, and I said, hey, do you have anything that hasn't been translated yet? And she has lots. And so she was really excited. And so there's going to be some opportunities for us to work as a group. And I'm still trying to figure out the best way so that everybody can hear it. It's not always the best for our ḳuduteení or online folks. But we have 3 to choose from. And let's see, I don't think I have their full names. But basically we have Adeline and Deborah, I believe, are from Huna. We have Adeline and Margaret, who I believe are also from Huna, based on what Marge told me. And then we have Fred White and Bill Fawcett. So we can pick one of those and sort of start. So I don't know if anybody has a preference for anyone, but this is something we'll probably just start incorporating into our class time, because the idea with her project was to document people just having conversation. And I hear a lot of folks saying, I just want to be able to do more conversation and not always the big stories and speeches. And so hopefully we'll find some good stuff on here. And parts of them have already been translated, so we might have to just sort of write down the Tlingit. And also we might find that there's some things we want to adjust as we're translating to a community of learners. And sometimes if an elder sits down, they'll translate it sort of more of a whole picture type of thing. So anybody got any thoughts on that? Any of that stuff?
Can we do the Bill Fawcett one?
Yeah, we could do that. So we'll work on the Bill Fawcett one starting next week. For this week, everybody, so we have, I just want to make sure one person does each of them. So does somebody want to do Girl Who Married a Bear for the small books that are going to translate from Tlingit to English?
I can do that.
Okay, so and again, multiple people can do the same one. It's not off the table. I just want to make sure at least one person is on each of these. Ideally a couple, and then maybe Woman Who Married a Frog.
I can do that one.
Okay. How Raven Made the Tithes. Got a couple takers on that. And How the Salmon Started Up the Rivers. Okay. Okay. And then anyone else, if just take any one you want. I just want to make sure at least one person was on each of them. And we'll just go kind of organically and see how it works out. Just get as much as you can. And it doesn't, I'm not looking for you to like totally break it down, but I just want you to sort of tell me what you see there. And then if you're getting stuck on things, you could certainly send me a message and I can lead you in a direction if you need any assistance. Yeah, and you guys can work on any one you want. So we've got, so far it sounds like Chitwu, Yichtla, and Akatchat Sewak Sumek. Who was going to do the woman who married the bear? Okay, yep. So, yeah, why don't you guys just, how about if everybody just sends me an email with your choice, and then I'll send the email out to the whole gang, just in case you guys want to, you know, if you want to ask someone who's working on the same one what they came up with. But if you want to just work on it on your own, that's totally fine too. But it's just another chance to sort of engage in language, and it helps us get these projects out the door. Ideally, we'll have, and I think there's 3 or 4 more of these books that we translated, but I haven't listened to the tapes and sort of gone through and written down what they said yet. So, sheesh. So I thought, you know, since we're talking about traveling, and we're going to end about a half an hour early today, we're up here meeting with a Maori genius, Graham Smith, and we're just talking about how to reshape the university. There's a lot of things that are just kind of floating around. I think one of my goals is to try and make language classes tuition free, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And then there's a number of other things that we're trying to do to just create probably a university within the university. If you guys are interested in those conversations, let me know and we can have a chat. And we're also trying to figure out just some things that how can we just get there faster? And so one of the things that I would envision is developing an actual program that focuses on creating teachers and speakers, so that if students enroll in this program, like, we'd still have the same language classes that we have, but we would have an accelerated program where we'd get cohorts that come in, and for the first year, they take nothing but language classes, and we would have this kind of pretty intense language class that would probably go maybe 4 hours every day, and then they would have assignments to do on their own. But I felt like if we did some really intense focus, and then we also supplemented that with maybe some adult learning, living environments like they have in the Six Nations with the Mohawk peoples, then I think we'll be able to hit fluency a little bit faster. But I thought what we'd go through today is some talk on motion verbs, because we're talking about traveling and going places. And motion verbs really start to help us show how conjugation classes work for Tlingit. So when we sort of come back, and let me open the chat window, and sort of like any class, if you've got a question, just ask it. If you've got a thought, just, you know, share it. Don't feel like you can't ask a question. But motion verbs work different. Can anybody tell me why or how do motion verbs work differently from other verbs? What's the big thing that's different about them?
They have to have direction, right?
Yeah, they have to have direction. That's one thing. And they don't really have to. It could be sort of implied, but they should almost always have direction. What else?
The conjugation prefix can change according to the type of motion.
That's right. So there are 4 types of motion, and that will determine what the conjugation class is. So those are the 2 big things with motion. And so this is why you'll hear wugut and uwagut, and we'll talk about what the difference is between those 2 things. Sometimes you'll hear that uwa in other verbs as well, and that's actually signaling something that you'll see. So the first thing we sort of think about is, one, these 4 conjugation classes. So we have 0, na, ka, and qa. And as we start to sort of think about that, we think every verb has a conjugation class. That conjugation class For non-motion verbs, it will not change. So if you hear someone say qashat, that reveals that it's qa, and so that means it will always be qa for that particular verb, which is to grab something or catch something or imprison something. And then the other thing to remember is for motion verbs, it'll just be determined by the type of motion, which is usually signaled by whatever the directional thing is that comes in the preverb. So when we hear someone say adewugut, and then atwugut, and then uwagut, we'll start to figure out the first two were na, and the last one was zero. And so these types of motion are the zero conjugation means it comes to a specified end, is really what it's trying to signal. The na means there's not a specified end. That doesn't mean it goes on forever. It just means we're not even thinking about the end of it, perhaps. Ga is upward motion. Qa is downward motion. Any questions about that stuff?
Just give me an example of a terminal and a unbounded.
Yeah, so we're going to go through, we'll look at every known sort of set that will trigger it into there. So the first thing, and so these are some tables. This is in the motion verb chapter for ḥuduteení, ḵuduteení. It's also in a section of Crippen's verbal structure handbook. And so as we sort of start to think about how these work, it's complicated, but once we grasp the concept, once we learn what the motion verb is, we can push it into any of these conjugation classes. And so this is why you'd say achjit te, and you would say wede na te, right? And so these are just some things to just sort of keep an eye on. So all of the zero conjugations, if we start just moving through these tables, and then some of them are going to be more common than others. So we have some sort of specified arrival thing, which is usually going to be the T. It's not really, you're not going to see it with the underline X or the day, which is towards. You're usually going to see it specifically with the T. And this is where you'd say hundakehitit uwagut. He made it to the store, or she made it to the store. Neith, when you're talking not about like neith as in the noun, but neith, the directional. And then there's a couple of these directional things in Tlingit where which one you use depends on where you're at. So this particular one means you are inside a building and you are communicating that someone else is coming inside of that building. So if you're inside of the room, or let's say if it's a little house, you'd say neith gu. And you can hear that there's a zero on there because it's not nagu, and it's not gagu, and it's not qagu. It's gu. So when you hear the command form as gu, to go, you know that it's a zero type of motion. So you say neith gu because they achieve coming inside of the building. If you were outside of the building, you wouldn't say neith gu because it refers specifically to you already being there. And so you would say hit ye gu, but it's still a zero, right? And so then hot, this is why you say hot uwagut. He came here or she came here. It's doing the same thing, but once you put the relational suffix on there, it'll push the short and high vowel to go long and low. So it's kind of hard to see there. But you would say hot, hot, iyagut. So that's where you're going to get the iya instead of ye for the second person. The other ones are a little bit they're probably less common. So here you'd say yut uwagut, and yuch and yude where what you're communicating is that they're already gone. They are way gone, far away. They went off somewhere, and so this is the runnoft. They run off, right? Gut uwagut is they're gone. Kuch is another one, and this isn't kuch. It's kuch, which is to run aground, especially like a boat, for it to run aground or to hit shallow water where it can't really move. You have yun, so you can say yun uwakuch, which would be made it to the shore, came to its destination, its stopping point, it's resting there, moving to the other side of yun and yan sha. Those ones are also going to be a little bit less common. That could be like, but if you were to talk about sort of putting up a totem pole, leaning a fishing rod up against something, you would use it to communicate those things. Because again, any type of carrying verb, because we learned there's all these different carrying verbs, like a empty container, full container, stick-like object, baby, all these other things. They all follow the same pattern, right? So once you learn that there's these things, then you'll know how to conjugate it at the end. Moving upwards, moving out of control. And as far as, the difference between, there's two types of moving up. One is it's going up the tree, or it's just going upward right now. That would be a g conjugation. But if you're saying the porcupine climbed up in the tree and he is up in the tree right now, or it is up in the tree, then it would be ke uwa gut. So that's when you get the uwa, when the motion is done and it's been achieved. So when we think about this sort of zero conjugation, I think we should think of it as being achieved. To get out of a vehicle, to catch up with somebody, to go down to the shore, to go into the water, to go out into the open, or to go into the woods, to move further away from the shore, to move by mistake, to go out to sea, to return, and to turn around to. And those ones should be plus D, so you should expect ḳuduteení. And so ḳuduteení would be he or she came back, right? And so what we see with all of these, though, is just this, it's been completed is usually what we're talking about. It's like, it's not like, oh yeah, he turned around and went home. It's like he turned around and he has made it home. So we continue to think about the zero as sort of achieving a goal. Again, to come near something, come up to something, to separate, to go ahead of something, to emerge from the woods out into the open, to go out into the water, to again going into the water, to begin to go, ḥuduteení uwagut, right? Because even though someone's beginning to go, if once you put ḥuduteení in front of it, or ḥuduteeye, you're not talking about going, you're talking about starting the act of going. And so then that becomes achieved once it sort of starts. Stuck, turning over, and then starting, taking off, picking up. And I haven't seen any examples of these ones going sort of back and forth like the ticking of a clock or something. Those are pretty unusual, and I haven't seen too many examples of those. And then you've got circling around, and some of these things like getting out of someone's way, so you'd say and that, what I was told is that's not necessarily rude. You're just saying, you're in my way, and move out of my way. Or you could say hey deka, and you could say but that they said it a little differently. How did they say I'll have to look up how they were saying in Tessanos. Anybody remember to say move over a chair? I thought they were saying hey de nanu, but I'll have to look in my notes and see if that's right. And then you have daseir, which would be to exchange places, and so this would also include trading, right? But usually with trading, you're going to have whoosh daseir, and then some sort of handling verb. But the handling verb, you would expect it to be a zero conjugation. And we'll look at what does that mean for zero conjugation? What are the main differences for that? And then to be hanging up at somewhere, and to be reverting or turning back. And those are the zero conjugations. And it's a lot of categories. The most important, most common ones you'll see is if the motion, you're really talking about it, getting to that place, going inside, and that's the most common sort of logic that you tend to see with the zeros. Any questions?
Quick question.
Ah,
So do the command forms often reveal the conjugation class?
they always do. So you're going to hear gu, nagu, gagu, kagu for any motion verb. And so, yeah, it'll pop up in a couple of different areas. But the command, it always has to have the conjugation prefix there, which tells you what the conjugation class is. So if someone says guk, kha, then you know it's zero. And if they say qanu, then you know it's qa. And if they say gidahan, then you know it's ga. And then if they say nata, then you know that it's na. And this also helps us to be able to predict the command forms of things. And so we'll look at that verb mode a little later. But this is just, we start with the motion verbs because it kind of shows us the way that the Tlingit thought world is embedding this type of logic, which is all these different motions they have types. And then the categories get kind of smaller. Like zero is the biggest category. And so this is something that Tlingit also tends to do, is if there's some zero type of thing that tends to be sort of the default. There's more zero classifier verbs than any other. There's more zero conjugation type verbs than any other. Then the other thing that we remember is that when it comes to perfectives, there's zero and everything else. So the others are going to conjugate sort of the same. So you're going to get gut with the zeros, short and high. And for na, ga, and qa, you're going to get gut for all of them when you go into the perfective.
Because they go long and low when they're in a perfective form, right?
Correct. And for the closed, if they're open, then they'll be long and high, and then long and high for the zeros, and then there will be long and low for the others. So examples of the na would be anything. So if we look at this slide shows us the na conjugations. The most common two, well, I guess that there's actually quite a few common. This is probably the most common one, because you get de, dach, nach, na, or nak, and those are very common in motion. So you could say, we de nagu, go over there. Nech de nagu, go home. Not come inside, but you go home. And then you'll get hundake hiti dach wu good. So then you hear that long and low in there. So whenever you have dach, nach, nak, or de, it's going to be na conjugation, right? And so this is what sort of pushes it into that. And so this is why you'd say achchite wedana. But then if you want to tell them to bring the money over there, wedana. So it's going to be na. And the other one that's going to be na is going to be atwugud. So atwugud would be to walk around somewhere, as opposed to atwugut, which would mean arrived there at that place. And so there, it does get a little tricky because there's some of them that sound exactly the same, but as you just start to see them, the big thing is like, is it just this, are we talking about just going, or are we talking about arriving? And that's sort of the fundamental difference between zero and na. And then ga is up and qa is down. And as we look at some of the verb modes, we'll see what some of those other things tend to mean. So here, again, we get day, like hit day, moving along. That would be more like nagu, like just go walk along that thing. Adachnagu, get away from it, right? Nach, same thing. Nak, whoops. And then, qa, like, so to go get something. So you could say, wugud. She went for coffee. Or nagu, go get coffee. Yuch is moving out of a house. Qa is again there. Oops, those ones, I might have missed a couple. I think I missed a couple, sorry. I'll fix those. There's probably two others in that category. Okay, any questions? Okay, so ga, there's again not very many. We just know that it's this upward motion. And then when we say dach, how do we know which dach it is? Because are we talking about coming off of a, picking it up off of a rock? Right? And so this is where if you want to say pick it up, you should be saying adach gati, right? And then again, it would conjugate adach awati, right? But the na and the ga, the perfectives are going to be the same, right? So the big difference is in the command. When we get into what's the difference between, what are the things that we have to pay attention to with these conjugation classes, the commands will always be different. The perfectives, they'll be zero and everything else. Specifically talking about the stem variation. Zeros tend to be high, the others tend to be low. And then the other areas where this makes a difference is a progressive imperfective, because you're going to have zero and na, and those will be ya, yanagut, yanasquain, and then you're going to get ga is going to be k all the time. So that's why you say kenatsin, kenakain, and then the qa is going to be ye, because k is upwards, ye is downwards. So then you're going to say ye andagan, it's the sun is shining, etc., etc. And also for the future, the zero and the na will have nothing in the preverb, but the ga is going to have k, again, ke kwak a, it's going to get better, right? And the qa is going to have ye ik khosatin, I'll see you later. That reveals exactly why that ye is there. It's a low tone ye. It has everything to do with the conjugation class. And when the future gets kicked in, you just got to remember, for all futures, if it's ga, you got to put k in front of it. If it's qa, you got to put ye in front of it. Dasa.
Do you have a resource that uses these in a sentence so that we can just see how it's used in everyday kind of sentences?
The next slides sort of show how to conjugate it, and then I would, but it's a really good question. But really, unless you're talking about specifically going up or down, it's pretty much always going to be either zero or na. And it really has to do with, are we talking about achieving something, or are we talking about just going? And so that's the basics. But if you get outside of motion verbs, the conjugation class is just already assigned to the verb and it cannot change. It can't change or else it becomes a different verb. Okay, so getting lost is also g conjugation. So in Tlingit, when you're getting lost, you're kind of going upwards. It's kind of interesting. And then you get the q. So you've got falling, specifically moving like downhill. You've got getting into a vehicle, moving into the ground, moving downward along something, moving down into the water, falling over, and then moving down along something like walking down a mountainside or something. And that's it. So basically, it's upward motion, downward motion. Getting lost is an upward motion, but then everything else has to do with na or ga. So then, like, there's this sort of concept. And now we look at what does that do to the verb itself. So if we look at the zero conjugations, let me check this. Yes, tana, yay, but it's got to be low tone. And so this is where it also gets tricky, because there is a high tone yay, and it means like this, right? So when you say yay do a sock, people call me this, right? So the yay with the high tone is usually saying this is the it's specifying something, right? Yechat yati. That's how I am. But the yay low tone is tying specifically to the conjugation class. So looking at what these verbs look like, so a command form, atg, neishg, hityg, atqagud, let me go there, right? So a command form, and the other thing that does get tricky with motion verbs is pretty much all of them change the verb somehow when you go to a plural form. So we're not going to look at that yet. We've got enough stuff to get our brains nice and tangled. But then, so the big thing is to remember at g. So you're going to hear the g in there, and you're also going to use that for the command form. Hortatives are a bit tricky. I just wanted to put them in there so we could start seeing what they look like. But I think our focus should be perfective, future, and command. And also progressive imperfective, because you need the progressive imperfective because that's how motion verbs take care of right now. So here we got adeyanchakut, adeyanigut, adeyanagut, adeyanagut. The fourth person in a motion verb is going to usually be in the object location, just to be nice and complicated, but that's just another thing to kind of put in your memory banks. Also, the progressive perfective will be the same for zero and na. And so really in the command form and the perfective is the only place that's going to make a difference, right? Klesh adeyan chogut, klesh adeyanigut, klesh adeya unagut. So that's not going there, right? And so what we're doing here is we're going I am, you are, she or he is, right? And then these are all listed in, I'll put these slides up on our website tonight, and then these are also in the chapter Hausane Chayuchatamgi. And just as you sort of, this gives you like another thing to look for as you go and just read stories, listen to people talking, listen to the old people talk the language, and you'll just start hearing these things. Because I think we look at these concepts and they are complicated, and then but then when you just start looking at them and looking for them and using them, they start to sort of catch on in various ways. I am going to the store. So that would be hundakahiti de yanchagut, right? And so the nice thing about using the right now, yanchagut, yanigut, yanagut, it could be zero. You could say neish yanchagut, I'm coming in the door, right? And you don't, it would conjugate the same because it's going to be a short high stem, and you're going to get ya for both 0 and na. So then we look at the perfective, and this is where we get a different shape. So here we're going to get at ḵuduteení or neil ḵuduteení. I went inside. I came inside. At iagut, at uagut, at awagut. The fourth person isn't used very much. It's used in sort of like big stories, like the Raven stories. They'll tend to use like the people went home type of a thing, and then you'll see that fourth person pop up. But typically we're doing like 1, 2, or 3, right? Me, you, or him or her. You're also going to see the negative perfective is not really affected, right? It's really just going to be the positive perfective and the command form. And so when we look at the futures, it's still going to be kakwagut, kaktigut, gukagut, and akwagut. It'll just say at. So this is where, you know, the conjugation class doesn't really matter for the future, unless you're talking about ga and qa, because then you're going to get kekwagut and yekwagut. Okay, but again, those types of motions are used less often than others. Kesh adekakwagut, I won't go there. You know, kesh nekakwagut, I'm not going home. Right, and so as we look through these examples, we can sort of just start to unpack how this stuff is working. Then the na, adenagu, adenkagut. The hortative will have the conjugation prefix as well. And so hortatives are pretty fun. It's like, let it happen, let us do that, let me do that, let him or her do that. And the hortatives are kind of tricky. I want us to start looking at them because those are the magic verbs. When people use those in the stories, the things that they are wishing for typically happen. But then there's the na, nagu. Dasa.
James Crippen, I think at one point said that the hortative also means I should go there or we should go there. Does that make sense, or is it more always go there?
Yeah, I think it tends to be used. If you look at how it's used, it usually has to do with like having a desire for that thing to happen. In particular, when you see like you know, let it be like this, let it be like that, and so yeah, I would say that certainly that works. And so the other thing is it's not always sort of a one-for-one translation. We just keep looking at the use and we keep thinking about how to use those things. And hortatives, they're not used a whole lot, but the one you'll probably use all the time is, you know, nachtuat, nachtukuch. But now you've got that hortative, so now you could let's go anywhere, right? Tahiti de nachtukuch. I guess on a boat, that's going to take a while. Okay, we only have a few more minutes, so I want to just show you a few more of these. So again, the progressive imperfective doesn't change. The negative one doesn't change, but the perfective does. Adechwagut, adeyigut, adewugut, adeawagut. So this is where we start thinking about, is that ending going to be long? Is it going to be short? Is it going to be low? Is it going to be high? And then that is the conjugation class plus the mode will tell you, you know, what the stem should be. Every verb has its own kind of stem type, but we'll get to that some other time. For now, we just remember that this conjugation class is going to push it in certain directions. Again, these ones are the same. The futures are the same. Instead of atkukwagut or netkukwagut, you get adekukwagut. And then the futures for positive and negative are the same. So now, people don't usually say get lost, but I think that's how you could say it. But I don't know if that's people don't like to say it because it's rude, or if it's actually just something that you don't say in Tlingit. So I'm just showing you to show you what the g would look like with the g conjugation. I don't recommend using that one. And then, there are hortatives. You can see the g and the g. We'll talk about that later. But here in the progressive imperfective, because it's g conjugation, you see that it's k instead of ya. So that's the big difference there. ḳuduteení ḵugut. I'm getting lost. ḳuduteení gut. You're getting lost, right? So that's how these things work, is that conjugation class is going to affect the stem, and whether we're talking about long, short, high, low. It's also going to affect, for the progressive imperfective and the future, what that preverb will be and if it's there. So you don't get like not getting lost, but you can say ḳuduteení. So if you go back to the na conjugation, you'll see all these are the same. ḳuduteení, yigut, but you can put q in front of it. These are also the same, the negative perfective. But the future, we see the k pop up again. ḳuduteení. I'm going to get lost. You're going to get lost. And it'll be in the negative form too. ḳuduteení. You won't get lost. With the q conjugation downward, oops, that one's fine. So then you see it right there. You see it right here. Qa is what you're going to get for the hortatives like that. And then here, instead of k or ya, you're going to get ye. Єн ḵugut. I'm walking down along it, like a hillside or a ramp or something. But then the ňkhugut, that's going to be the same. So what changes is this ya to the k to the ye. When we look at the perfective, it's the same, right? ňkhugut. I'm walking down along it. Right, and so those are ones where it's getting hard to tell, but you get into some kind of unusual situations when you would need to refer I'm walking down along it, or I'm just walking along. And then in the future, you're going to get the ye every time. If it's q conjugation, it has to have ye. Ye aqqudagan. Ye aguchdagan, sorry. Ye aguchdagan. It's going to be sun shining. And so I know it's a lot, so we tend to sort of look at it, now go do something else. We'll come back to this and we'll actually just put some examples together. The biggest thing is just to start showing you how this affects the verb, how it gets used, and how the Tlingit brain thinks about these different types of motions and stuff. Like action. Okay, so I'll put these slides up, the chapters up there. We'll just I recommend just take a break from it, and just start realizing that it's there. These are some things we'll spend the semester just sort of talking about a bit more. Why is it important to know this stuff? Because sometimes when I would talk with the elders, I'd get a pretty kind of a hard correction, because I'd say, ya undagan. And then they'd say, ye undagun. And then, but I realized that's because I wasn't committing to memory what the conjugation class was. But then we'll see how that works. So then as we look up new verbs, we just start putting more and more information. I've got to know this thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. But then I could just totally use that verb. Okay. Yigoayach one. You're just going to look at these stories, read them, have fun, translate them, and then let me know if you see any things that are errors or that you think might be errors. And then we'll go through those next week. And then anybody got a topic for when we start our class with conversations? Anybody got an idea?
This might be too basic, but it might be interesting to talk about like our daily routines, like what we do.
Okay. Daily routines. Let's do that. So there's things you do every day. That's a great idea because we've got to do day-to-day language. And so as always, I think so Monday when we get back together, there's no class on Wednesday. Just work on your translations. On Monday, we'll start with day-to-day routines, all in Tlingit. Then we'll stop and I'll say, who has questions? What kinds of things would be helpful? And then we'll just look at some more motion verbs and some other things, but we'll try to do like actually just a few more just examples on how to put stuff together. Okay. Oh, good.
For the translation, is there a format you want them in? Like, do you want us to kind of put whatever our product is in a Word document, or is it fine on like a legal pad? Like, what do you?
Yeah, just bring it to class in whatever format. You're not going to hand it in. We're just going to walk through it, and you guys are going to tell me what you came up with.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll go through it together, and then we'll also just look at anything where like you want to know more about how this thing works, or you weren't sure about this thing, and we'll talk about those different components. And it's pretty fun because we manufactured that Tlingit, and so and there might be something. There's just some really fun stuff in there. Okay. Yakecha grchish kachkunach yake. You guys are amazing. Okay, see y'all in a week.